This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1217, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang. Joining me from Nashville, it's artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
Hello.
And from just down the road there in Nashville, our managing editor, downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
We're shorthanded today. Marty is in Florida still. Apparently his family does a 3-week Thanksgiving. I don't understand.
He's been there since like the weekend before Thanksgiving.
I know. So. That's what I'm saying. Literally 3 weeks in Florida. And Jesse's off today. So it's going to be a good show, though. Not only do we have Mr. Derek Miner, but coming up later, Joel Houston joins us. Back from the dead, Joel Houston. Like, where's he been for 4 years, Emily?
I'm not going to give the interview away.
Okay, all right, fine. It's good. He's coming back with a solo project called AMXNRADIO. If you've been following him on social, you may think it's called AMXNRADIO. It is not. It's called AMXNRADIO. Yeah. Emily went to the source and asked him, how do you pronounce this weird project you're doing? And he's like, I didn't realize people would be so confused. So.
It was literally the first question I asked him. I said, I have the toughest question that I'm going to ask you, and it's, how do you pronounce this? And he was like, I didn't realize that so many people were going to be tripped up by it, which I get that. Like, when you create something, you know exactly what it is, and then you put it out there and, people don't get it. But
people find the smallest thing to be tripped up on, too. It's like, wait, the thing you didn't realize was going to be a big deal. It's
the thing. Like, as I read his posts in my brain, I read it as AMXNRADIO. So, like, I didn't know how to say it out loud, so now we know.
I also spent like 15 minutes before the interview trying to figure out, like, has he said this anywhere so I can hear what he says? And then I found out we were actually the first people that he talked to.
You're the first interview. Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
So we have the scoop on that. Yeah.
Breaking news, everybody. All right. Derek, why are you recording from not your studio? What's going on?
It's because I'm frustrated. That's why. That's just because I'm frustrated.
Hey, I get this. Wait, are you saying, because like some days, like the night before, when I'm like late night working in my home office, like the next day, I just don't want to be in my home office. So I'll work from like the living room, the breakfast table. I need to be near windows. I just need to reset. Is that what you're talking about?
It's none of that.
No.
Listen,
okay.
Listen, if you own a home, don't do the renovation. Don't do it.
What? Just live in an old junky home? No, you got to renovate.
I don't care if the bathroom is 60 years old and the paint is puke green.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. It's not worth it. Don't. Because once you fix one thing, there's going to be 30 other things that's going to go wrong. So we were going to move. We decided not to. Right. Decided to stay home and renovate. Right. So my wife is like, well, if I'm going to stay here, we changing the bathroom. So I'm going to do an Adam. I'm blaming on that woman. That woman,
dude, Derek, you've been to my house. I renovated significantly mid-century house, but I stopped short. I have a few things I need to finish. Yeah. And I haven't. Like, some of them are larger projects. Some of them are very small projects. But I know that if I just try to tackle the small project, it will not be a small project. It will expand. And so, like, literally, I'm thinking this $1,000 project that I need to do, I know will turn into a $10,000 or $15,000 project. Absolutely. So unless I'm ready for that, I'm not even going to do the $1,000 project. Do it.
Because I did the bathroom. It looks amazing. It looks like a spa. I mean, it's amazing. I go downstairs, and after a couple of weeks of showering, I look in my garage, and there's water, and there has not been any rain.
Oh, no.
There's not been any rain at all.
Right.
And it's on the side of the garage where there's no doors, no nothing. So I'm like, well, where is this coming from? Right. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's my washing machine. No, it was the bathroom. And you know what it was? When he put the tile back onto the wall, when they were putting the drywall up, he nicked a pipe. Barely nicked it. Like, it wasn't even like when you see the pipe, it was a small hole. And
like the nail or something,
like
or a screw?
Pin. Yeah, it just nicked it. Like the screw just nicked it barely. And the water just has been pouring in the back of my studio for a month. So now my studio there was no walls in it last week. We have walls. Now we are putting paint and they're doing drywall, but my equipment, they just decided to cover it up, and now there's dust everywhere. So we're going to have to clean the whole. Luckily, none of this. I knew, I was like, all right, they're not going to be. Just all my furniture has dust on it. It looks like an old haunted house, like with like covers on top. I'm just,
dude.
Don't do the renovation, y'all. Look, it's not worth. I don't care. It's not worth it, dog.
I lived through our renovation. Like I lived here while it was happening. And so it's like different parts of the house, rip the ceilings out, or we're sanding this or whatever. Dude, I have stuff now currently several years later that still has dust on it. And I have cleaners every week, but like basketballs or like electric equipment or little things that I'll be like, that's dust from when they were sanding the drywall on the other part of the house. Somehow it got over here. In your studio with the electronic equipment, you're going to be finding drywall dust for a long time.
For a long time, dog. Dust and water
goes everywhere.
Are ridiculous. Dude. Like, why is there dust? Like, God, why did you allow dust to be of a thing?
To let us know you need to clean. You need to clean this.
The Bible says that we're made of dust, and I understand why I'm frustrated with most humans, because they're made of dust. Like, that's the issue.
Y'all are making me feel real good, because I just re-signed my lease for my apartment, and I am so thrilled that I don't have to make any building choices or anything like that. Like, they do it all for me.
All right, so you're recording from your living room because your studio is being renovated, but your studio, I'm going to tell people, he sent a picture last night. It's looking pretty sick. It's looking like the back.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fire.
Yeah.
It's going to be dope. Yeah. But I'm frustrated.
So that's the benefit of the frustration.
No, it's not worth it.
Is the end result? You don't think it's worth it?
Maybe. I don't know.
Cameron, you're trying to be optimistic. Derek just needs to sit in his pessimism.
In the moment, let me
longer.
be a baby. Can I be a big 6-year-old right quick? Okay.
There you go.
Fine?
It's my default, man. I'm an Enneagram 7. Like, there's good. Like, don't worry about the hard stuff that makes you feel bad. There's good coming.
What's the opposite
that's
of
me,
Enneagram 7? I'm that right now.
I don't know.
Enneagram -7 is what I am.
Ecclesiastes, just wallow in it. Just
Lamentations.
Yes, I'm in Lamentations, right? I am in first world problems Lamentations. That's what I'm in right now.
You're in your Lamentations era. We'll move on from it eventually.
For sure. The Lamentations first era. World problems.
Right. Well, like I said, we have a great show coming up. At the end of the show, we have your feedback. But stay tuned after this break. It's Relevant Buzz. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold. All right, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Okay, well, the big conversation this week has been about Spotify Wrapped, which released finally this week.
Excuse me, and Apple Music Replay for the 2% of us who are Apple Music people.
I forgot the 3 people.
We're joining in too. Leave us alone.
I love both platforms.
Which one do you actually use though, Derek?
I'm not saying anything.
Spotify, got it.
Yeah, he gets money from both. He's not. He's not going to buy Dan that feeds him.
I have subscriptions to both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Equal opportunist.
We have subscription because until we stopped doing music on the podcast, Relevant had a subscription to Spotify because we would be doing our playlists and show music and stuff. And then I personally have Apple Music. Apple Music sounds better fidelity wise. I do enjoy the crowdsourced playlist experience over on Spotify. But I really love Apple's curation. Apple Music One, Zane Lowe, they are great at breaking artists and taste making. And I miss taste making. I missed what Virgin Records used to do back in the day, Virgin Megastores, and they would select up and coming artists and tell you about. I love that. I don't get that over at Spotify, but I also like what Spotify does. So I'm both, but I'm an Apple Music guy. I listen to that 99% of the time. So you go back and forth?
Yeah. I got subscriptions to both. I use both for different things at different times. I just when Shazam, as soon as you Shazam something, it goes straight to Apple Music. Yeah, Apple, it just goes straight to Apple Music.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, when you Shazam,
yeah, one of their lists that they released this week was the most Shazam songs this year. Yeah, Apple did.
And then Spotify is dope. Like you said, the crowdsourcing, it's like the underground. It feels like a little bit over there. The algorithmic playlists are getting better. The algorithmic stuff that they're building out. The curators at Spotify are pretty good too. There's just so many playlists, I think, on Spotify. Sometimes it's overwhelming.
See that? Thank you. Okay, I've never said that, but that's how I feel too. It's like you go over to Spotify and there's too much selection. I don't know if you're a good playlist or, if you're, I don't know where you're coming from. Apple, I get to trust the tastemaker, the curation. I get to know it, and if they say this is going to be a great artist, we know what I feel like Apple is a little more honed. I will say, kind of the music industry used to be, and now Spotify is just everybody can be a tastemaker, and it's just a little I'm not sure. But anyway.
See, I kind of like that about Spotify though, because there are people who are not associated with Spotify anyway. It's just a random person's profile, but they make really good playlists, and I like that because I do feel like I get more obscure suggestions that way because it's I don't know. I like finding.
But it's how do you find those? That's my thing is there's so many options on Spotify. If you're just hey, I want to listen to music that I'll like, where do you start? You know what I mean? Whereas with Apple, you can it's a little bit more here, go this way, kind of a thing. Anyway.
Well, anyways, I have no shame in admitting that I only listen to Spotify. And I think part of that is because in addition to being a music fan, I also am a really big data nerd. And I do think Spotify has more data. Especially this week, both Apple Music and Spotify released their end of year
list. Wait, you like being watched? You like being surveilled? You like Big Brother knowing what you're doing at all times?
I have no shame. I have no shame in finding out how many minutes I spent listening to Taylor Swift this year. That is
Also, you were targeted in college because that was what Spotify did, was give free Spotify accounts to college students.
Yeah.
That's how Spotify blew up. They went and they targeted all the college students, gave them free Spotify accounts for 30 days, and that's how Spotify blew up.
And then for a while, it was also super discount. I think I was paying... I think it was $1.99 a month or something like that for while I was, as long as I had my college email address and it was still valid.
So it's the drug dealer model, a little taste for free, get you hooked,
get a little
and
hit.
then we charge you.
They get you a little hit.
Oh, I like this. Let me keep it going. Well, now you got to pay.
I didn't think about it like that, but
got it.
Got you a little hit right quick.
Ooh, anyways, get to know that I'm addicted. Anyways, all that to say, Spotify, Apple Music, yes, did come out with a couple lists, but Spotify had a lot more data this year on just what people were listening to. And there are a few stats that I just kind of want to bring to people's attention because I thought they were really interesting and kind of reflective on the year. The first thing is that this was a really big year for women, or female artists, because a lot of female artists, especially pop, dropped albums this year. So I was curious if that would actually impact the charts at all. And it turns out it did. In the US, 6 of the top 10 albums this year were from women, which last year...
I would say, is that higher than normal?
So last year, there were 4 albums from women that were in the top 10, 3 of them being from Taylor Swift herself, and then SZA's SOS.
So one other woman than Taylor
Yeah.
last year. So basically 2 women in the top 10 last year.
Yes.
And now 6 women.
Yes. And this year, there's still 2 albums from Taylor. But then you also have Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Rowan, Billie Eilish, and SZA again. So a little bit more diversity, some kind of new, more notable names. So yeah. Congrats, women. We finally did it.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
You said Chappell Rowan. I've always said Chappell Roan. This is an AMXN situation. Am I saying it wrong? It's 2 syllables. Rowan?
So
Chappell
here's the
Rowan?
thing. I've heard it both ways, and I'm also not sure. Because the way that she's even said, like she said it sometimes like while she was singing a song, and it sounded like it was 2 syllables, but I've also heard her say it 1. So I don't know if she knows how to say it either. But
okay, it's her own name. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, so like definitely a big jump in women this year. I will say though, I was surprised that there were 2 female artists who didn't make the top 10 this year. And I was really surprised about that. And that was Charli XCX Brat album and Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album. And the reason I expected those to be bigger were because they were really big cultural moments, like especially Brat. Like I feel like Brat Summer was everywhere. She was on SNL. It was parodied on SNL. Like it was a really big moment, but she didn't chart at all. And that's interesting to me because it does feel like we are in a new era where success is just not defined by charts anymore. Like, because I don't think anyone would say that Charli or Beyonce had unsuccessful years, but they're not big on charts. And I'm just curious,
but
like, do you guys...
But it's not charts, it's consumption. That's the difference between like Billboard 100 and what Spotify is releasing. It's like, this is what people are actually engaging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like label gimmick sales numbers over here on Billboard. It's like, this is what people are really listening to. So if like Charli didn't get, didn't make the top 10, she wasn't in the top 10 of what people were listening to this year.
But I'm saying, but like, that's interesting because like she didn't, I think she charted fine on the bill. Like she never reached number 1. She charted fine, but she clearly didn't have a ton of like streaming. But again, like, I don't think anyone would say she had an unsuccessful year. I think she had the most successful year of her career.
Oh, for sure.
And so I don't know. This conversation about what does it mean to be successful as an artist right now, I feel like that conversation is kind of in flux right now. Are you guys seeing that, or am I just speculating here?
Buddy, don't nobody know what's going on in the music industry right now. What is success? Like no one knows, and no one knows what the future is going to be, and we all have grown to accept that.
Well, not to bring the group chat out, there was a conversation about this same thing this morning that we were having about perception versus reality. Mm-hmm. And like, right. and if you were to look on the hip hop side, you would say this year, Kendrick Lamar, that's it. Everybody else is in the basement. You know what I mean? This is Kendrick.
Right.
And if you look at Apple Music, Kendrick's Not Like Us was the number 1 stream song of the year. I mean, like data wise, right? But if you look over on Spotify, Drake was the number 1 hip hop artist and Kendrick was number 5. Like Kanye was number 3. Eminem was number 4. Like, what? Like, I was so confused by that because like perception is everybody was listening to Kendrick. Nobody was listening to Drake this year. He didn't release an album. Kendrick did. So to bring the a little of the conversation publicly is like, you guys were saying the Spotify numbers are very algorithmically influenced. So
I think so.
So yeah. Spotify is playing Kanye and playing Drake to people who it just fits the vibe of what they're listening to. And the algorithm is going to push that music and it's not pushing Kendrick as much. And that's why I was like, I'm interested to see what's happening over on Apple because it's not as algorithmically pushed. It's more people seeking out music intentionally. Like you're saying about Shazam.
I also think that Kendrick is being pushed by the algorithm. I just think Drake has so many hits that fit in so many different
the catalog
genres.
Is so huge.
Like if you're in Afrobeat, you're going to get a Drake song. If you're in R&B, you're going to get a Drake song. Like, so it's not just like popularity, but it's the breadth of Drake's dominance across all genres.
With the Apple charts, it's like I'm seeking out this artist. Again, Kendrick's number one song of the year. Drake isn't, so like it's so different. Interesting, like to see how the platforms are influencing how people consume music,
to Derek's point, I think, and not to make it all about Taylor Swift, but I do think that is why that's why Taylor gets a lot of streams, is because in the same way, like she has maybe not necessarily as many genres, although she does have country, she has pop, she has indie, like she'll show up in all of those, but also just the vibe of her song, which I do think
she's sad girl, she's happy pop, she's so you're listening to like Single Ladies, and then next happy Taylor song comes up, and then you're listening to Lana Del Rey, and a sad Taylor song comes up.
Yes. Now you're getting so like Spotify literally has thousands of micro genres. So we thinking like hip hop, rock, but they have like sad girl pop rock, sad boy pop rock. They have academic Christian rap. They have all these different things. So when you think about Drake and his breadth of music and his diversity, I've always felt like Drake is seeding himself among genres because he knows, as a big of an artist as he is, he's going to get pushed in all of these micro genres. So that's the point that I'm making. If I'm listening to an Afrobeats playlist, we make it to the end of the Afrobeats playlist, it's a high probability that Drake is coming on
100%
at some point in time.
Yeah.
Same thing with R&B. Same thing with, like, you're going to be hard pressed to be in any genre, maybe except country and jazz, that Drake is not going to show up in as far as pop music. And Christian, right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real.
But
that's a good point.
Kendrick has spent his life
one
drilling into hip hop. Like he'll take small steps outside, like the song he got with SZA, but everything's always going to be hip hop based. With Kendrick, so Drake's gonna win on Spotify. Like,
and Kendrick will go West Coast, he'll go backpack rap. He'll, there's subgenres within hip hop that he'll dance around.
He was on a Taylor Swift song. Just saying.
For sure,
he was. I didn't know that.
He did a remix.
You need a verse for the Swifties.
He did a remix for Bad Blood, and
see, I loved Kendrick up until that moment. Why did you just ruin it for me?
You didn't hear that in the beef that Drake said?
No.
Top said, drop and give him 50. We need a verse for the Swifties. Yeah. But Drake was also in the Taylor Swift promo for Bad Blood, looking super zesty. So, like, bruh, like, listen, I wish Tay would call me. I don't care how, whatever, bro. I'm in that mud, bro.
Like a year and a half ago, Drake did a photo dump, and at the very end, he posted a picture of him and Taylor in what looked like a studio. I think about that about 6 times a week because I need to know if they recorded a song, and I need it because I need to hear a Drake Taylor Swift song before I die.
I'm trying to tell you, bro.
In between you and your Swiftie message boards and Marty, who somehow gets access to all the unreleased everything, we can confirm that there's no Taylor Swift Drake
it's
unreleased track that is. You think it exists, huh? All right.
I think it's out there.
Oh, it's under lock and key.
In my heart of hearts, I have hope. I trust that Drake wouldn't do me like that. He wouldn't post that.
These big studios, big money studios, they have like 10 different studios happening at the same time. My thought was that Drake was just down the hall recording something. He heard Taylor was recording something. He just popped in, said, hey, and somebody took a picture. That's my thing.
Here's the thing. Rumor has it that the song happened in about 2016, 2017. So it would be on her Reputation album. That should be the next Taylor's version re-release that she's doing. So any day now she's going to announce that, and we'll see if I'm right and if my dreams all come true.
Oh my gosh.
You'll hear me scream from Nashville. So that's how you'll know.
2016 Drake and 2016 Taylor is crazy.
Yeah.
That would be it. Because he was in his bag in 2016
he
for
was.
Sure.
So now we're all excited again. Interesting. Funny how it always comes back around.
So your slice was Spotify rap, Apple Music rap, biggest song of the year. We know it's not like us.
Biggest detour.
No, all good.
Not like us. And then it's the year of women, but not like us over on Apple. So
yeah, pretty much. No, there's a lot of interesting stats in there. Like I said, I'm a data nerd, so I think it's all interesting. But moving on to a different set of data that I want to talk about is that Gen Z I don't know if you guys know this, they're racking up credit card debt way faster than any other generation before them.
Okay, so here's what we know about Gen Z. They stay home a lot, right? Mm-hmm. They're lonely. They're online a lot. They're on social a lot. Like all the studies that are coming out, like they're more lonely than any other generation. They're more online than any other generation. So now you're saying they're more in debt than any other generation or credit card debt? That's crazy.
They're really breaking records over here. I was wondering like how they're racking up so much, because I have heard a lot of like they're not going out, they're not doing things, but they are eating in or they're ordering in a lot. Like DoorDash has really...
Stop it.
Yeah, they're ordering in a lot.
DoorDash got Jizzy
and
in a chokehold.
They're doing a lot of online shopping. Like they are online and they're alone, but they are still spending money, which I mean, I get it every now and then.
That's
but
wild. So millennials spent money on experiences, right? Travel, concerts, things like that. And Gen X and boomers criticize millennials of like, well, you could own a home if you didn't have your avocado toast or whatever. Like, what you're saying, Gen Z is actually like just buying stuff and wasting money on
Now,
DoorDash.
I will say they will
at least millennials were doing experiences, maybe.
Gen Z will go travel, and they'll go all out for travel because that's how they're racking up their credit card debt. Is because when they're not ordering in or online shopping, they're spending a lot of money on like nice travel stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So they're going all like they are just like balling out, having fun, putting everything on a credit card. Let me give you this stat. The average credit card balance for 22 to 24-year-olds reached $2,834 at the end of last year. That's a 26% increase from what millennials owed at the same age a decade ago.
26% more.
Yeah, 26% more. So
$2,800 to me, to my ears as a business owner and a homeowner,
sure.
$2,800 doesn't sound like a lot of money. I'll just be honest. But at 28% interest, and you're not making very much at 22 years old, that's a lot. And it's going to take a while to pay that off.
28% interest is hell.
Yeah.
Right?
Like you just put yourself in hell over DoorDash.
Right.
You're not going to pay that off. Like you're paying the interest every month.
That's the thing. It's like I think because it's such a small number now, they're like, oh, I'll pay it off. But we all know like credit card debt, like something happens and you get behind and then that interest grows. Like it is like they don't have the experience of how bad dealing with credit card debt can be. So,
and their entry level salaries too. So that $300, credit card bill every month, and you're not paying down the balance, know.
Let me tell y'all about this thing called compound interest. Compound interest is how rich people make a lot of money, which is they charge you small amounts. Like if I were to tell you, hey, when you pay this back, it's going to be, this $2,800 is going to be $28,000. You'd be like, no way I'm taking that deal.
Right.
But if I tell you, hey, this $2,800, it's only going to be $15 a month. You'd be like, oh, that's nothing. That's what's happening right now.
And the report I was looking at did talk about there's a lot of things like Klarna where it's like buy now, pay later sort of stuff that a lot of people are doing. Like I have a lot of friends who have admitted that they use Klarna for like so many purchases. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, and it's like for things that are like $200. And I'm like,
it's like a payday loan almost.
Yeah.
And that $200 item is now $280.
Yeah.
Because
the way
Cameron, you're right.
The way these some of these things are set up too is it's like if you can pay it off in this amount of time, you don't have interest. But it's like, well, if you can't pay $200 right now, like what's going to make you think like it's like such a snowball effect. And experts are warning that because Gen Z's kind of setting themselves up for failure right now, this is going to push back a lot of their ability to reach certain milestones like buying a house, getting married, having kids. Like that's going to delay it all because they're going to have to figure out their financial situation before, ideally they'll want to figure out their financial situation before getting into all of that.
I'll be honest with you. Like I'm a different generation, obviously, but like people have asked me over the years, like looking back with what you know now, what would you tell yourself when you're starting Relevant, when you're 24 years old, that kind of thing? I'll be honest with you. The one thing is I didn't have investors. So like I started the company with debt, like credit cards. I just maxed everything out. Right. And that was just an albatross around my neck for so long. And I'm saying even to this day, not that direct debt, but it's a snowball effect of debt. You know what I mean? And so like to Derek's point, it's like, that little thing becomes, you can't pay that off. And so you keep moving forward and it just keeps growing and it changes and it shifts and there's houses or there's, it's just whatever. But like the idea of debt, I would have been, if I could start all over again, pay your taxes on time. Number one, that's number one, pay your taxes on time. But number two, avoid debt as much as you possibly can. Instant gratification is not worth it, y'all. Like that thing's $200. Just pause, anticipate, save up to $200 and appreciate it when you get it and pay cash for it. I'm sorry, but like you don't need it right now. You can wait 2 months. Like just don't what Proverbs, like you are a slave to the lender.
Slave to the lender. That's it.
I when we were doing prep for the show, Emily was going to bring this up. I was like, Derek's message is financial literacy. And I just wish I had a Derek Miner in my life when I was 22 years old. Gen Z, stop charging stuff. Thank you. Look, that's my message.
I don't put anything in debt. And that's including even the vehicle that I just purchased, my Tesla, unless I can nuke it. Like you have to be able to hit the nuke button. Now, everybody's not in the position
Explain
that I'm
What
in.
does that mean?
I call it the nuke button. And that is if things go sideways, I have the cash to be able to pay this off right now. Right. So listen, I'm all for, getting your points on cards or whatever. I know Dave Ramsey is totally against that, but I'm all for, hey, airline points. I'm all for, hey, same as cash things. That's cool. But if you don't have the cash in your bank, you're setting yourself up for failure because it becomes a snowball. All of that interest that you didn't pay off, it just hits you. And then that begins to gain interest. And then now you're in this web of frustration. And the reason why I'm so passionate about people being debt free is because we grew up in a lot of debt. My mom had a great job. She worked at General Motors. And my stepdad had addiction issues. You guys know the story. But we would come home and I saw the stress. It literally almost killed my mom. And I do not want people to go through that. And I feel bad because right now it's all fun and games because money, we don't touch it with our hands. It's all just numbers in a bank and in an account. But you don't want to know what it feels like to have your lights cut off. You don't want to know what it feels like to have your stuff like embarrassed because people came and grabbed your car from you or you got kicked out your house, guys. And that's what's going to happen if we keep stacking this debt up. So I'm off my soapbox, but I love y'all. That's why I'm being passionate about this.
Hey, that's wisdom, man. Because I grew up in a house where my grandparents were Depression era, so they were in ministry, so they never had any money. They had a big family, like 8 kids. Yeah. So they lived very frugally. They taught that to my mom, who's a CFO, so she's very frugal. And so I always grew up seeing them live far below their means. They gave generously. They had no debt. My mom it would bug me to no end. She would buy the generic brand Albertsons toothpaste instead of Crest. And I was like, that was embarrassing to me. So when I became my own person, I bought Crest. I'm going to do the opposite. Like you're doing the opposite of what you were raised in. I did the opposite. I spent money that my parents wouldn't have spent. I got into debt very early in college. I mean, hey, free credit card. Sweet. I'm going to Bennigan's. Let's go. I didn't have an income to go to Bennigan's, but I can put on a credit card. And so I started out behind, but I was living a lifestyle that I wanted that my parents didn't allow me to live. That's my regret in life. I don't live with regret, but like I've learned, man, I wish I would have had a Derek Miner on a soapbox in my ear, at that season of life, because like I didn't know what you said, snowball. I didn't know the snowball that it would become. And it really was the stress of my life over the last 20 years. Like even how I run relevant. It's like, if we had $100, I'd spend $100 on innovating, impact. Let's go. Next thing. And I wasn't wise with it. You know what I mean? And that came to bite us later because we didn't have what you said, that nuke button, And so that I wish I had a Derek Miner in my life. Y'all, if you're listening, listen to Derek Miner. Just wait.
I'm going to leave you with this last thing. Like, look, guys, the Bible says that you are the lender and not the borrower. Like, that's what God has put on you. He didn't put you on, as a child of God, it's for the believers, as a child of God, like, he wants you to be able to give generously. You can't do that when you're a slave to debt, you know? So, yeah.
That's good. If y'all notice, I did not say a single word that whole time because I have no business giving anyone any financial advice.
This is not financial advice. This. I'm just
taking it as financial
advice. But look, you take it and do what you want. But I'm passionate about everyone being able to have peace. That's an area that, especially in America, like we should be able. This is the richest country in the world, and when we utilize this in the way that we should, it impacts you to be able to give, and that's what I want for people.
I just wish, like, Gen Z is so online, right? They're so TikTok shop. They're so, I wish the veil would be dropped so they could see what's happening. Like Emily was targeted in college with free Spotify.
Yeah.
That trapped her as a customer forever. Like, I wish Gen Z would see what's actually happening. You're choosing. I get it. But it became a habit. It's how you consume media. You can't walk away. You can't walk away because all your playlists, right? Like, they did trap you in their ecosystem. I just
found out that I'm basically a drug addict 20 minutes ago. Okay, so let me have this.
But they trapped you in their ecosystem, and they were smart about it.
No, I get it.
These companies are preying on 20-somethings. They are. They're preying. Yeah. They're trying to get you into a habit, into a cycle where you can't break out of it. And I just wish y'all could just see, like, say no. Just say no to instant gratification. Say no to the TikTok shop purchase at 2 a.m. while you're laying in bed, unless you got the cash in the bank. Don't hit Klarna. Don't hit whatever that pay on payments is. It's only $2. I don't care. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Just wait. Yeah. What's the last thing?
Last thing is something that I do have business talking about. And that is just someone that I've been following this year that I'm really excited to share with y'all, because it's Forrest Frank, and I know y'all know who he is. Like, he's had a really big year with music, but he's going to have an even bigger year in 2025 because he just announced part 2 of his Child of God tour, and he'll be playing arenas with Elevation Rhythm.
Crazy.
Dude, this dude.
Crazy. He's having a crazy year.
Derek, 6 months ago, we were telling you about Forrest Frank. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, in the group chat, Marty and I were like, dude, no, this guy's like, he's got it. Like, Connor Price was kind of doing like the white rap thing, but Forrest was coming from a different place, and it was broader. And like, dude, this guy, he released his debut album this year.
Yeah, the biggest Christian album debut of 2024.
Like, he was #1 for like 2.5 months, his debut album.
For 14 weeks on the chart. He just got nominated for his first Grammy. Like, he is like blowing up, and it's just really cool because it almost seems like it came out of nowhere, but then I don't know, like he keeps getting bigger.
The thing. Here's why it's interesting. Like, Derek and I were at a trip a month ago, and one of the guys there was the head of a major concert company, right? And he was talking, I remember breakfast. It was like Derek was on one side of the table, he was on the other. We were just talking music industry, touring kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't understand how, when I look at Forrest Frank's numbers online, and he has millions upon millions, tens of millions of listens, and I see him touring, he's playing 800-seat venues. I don't understand that. And then Connor Price did the same thing. Huge numbers online, and he did like 4 cities, tiny venues, sold them out. And the guy's like, no. That's what artists have to do, because they're building their own fan base. They're building a database of hardcore fans. And then when they come back to that city, those hardcore fans will bring their friends. And so they can play a bigger venue. And like, it expands out organically. He's like, that's how you build a career. What Forrest Frank did this year, he was playing theaters. He was playing smaller venues. He's like, watch, 2025, he'll be playing arenas. And guess what? They just announced he's playing arenas.
And
that's crazy.
Tickets are on sale right now. I actually was looking this morning. He posted at least for pre-sale for places like Dallas and Nashville, already sold out.
Yeah.
Already sold out in like a day. That's crazy.
Dallas sold out in a day.
Yeah. So he is like...
Yeah, Dallas sold out in a day.
He's huge. It is interesting, though, the thing about like starting with theaters and stuff, because... Again, on the pop side, there are a couple artists who, like Olivia Rodrigo, her first tour was like theaters and like small amphitheaters. but she had millions of streams already. And so people were really mad because it was like a bloodbath to get tickets. But then her next tour, she was selling out every single arena. But it's like, but it was good for her to, in her beginning, to build up that fan base. And now she's massive. And like, I see Forrest doing that same trajectory where he's got the fan base now, and now he's very quickly selling out arenas.
You also need reps. Like a tour, just because somebody's doing millions of streams doesn't mean that they know how to tour. Yeah. So you don't, an arena tour is a big investment. If I'm an investor, even in a tour or a sponsor or whatever, I would love to see you kill a tour like of theaters, 800,000. I would love to see you do that well so we can scale up. You don't want to scale up anything too fast. That's just a rule of thumb. But the music business is like 5 different businesses in one. And I think, we have to remember that. So he probably could have did arenas realistically this year. But would it be smart? No, because you got to get your mistakes out. You got to get all of that figured out first before you start doing the other stuff. So I can't. Congrats to him though.
I remember artists coming up. Like I saw Coldplay play House of Blues, like 1,200 people, and then the next tour was an arena tour. I remember seeing The Weeknd. I played Hard Rock Live here, and it was like 2,000 people. Maybe it was incredible. Next tour, arena tour. Crazy. Like that's the thing is like it's a proven model of like sell out the mid-sized smaller venues, build your hardcore fan base, and guess what? They're coming back to your next one because they want to see how you go from House of Blues to an arena. So your fans are coming back and they're bringing their friends. I think it's brilliant. I didn't know that about artists and touring and stuff. That's interesting because I'm like going, he's a huge artist. He's hugely popular. Why wouldn't he be booking an arena this year? Why is he bothering playing 1,200 people? Oh, no, that's what you just said. That makes total sense. So
they're scaling up.
All right. Forrest Frank, everybody. Spring tour. There you go. Check it out.
Exciting.
Okay. That'll do it for Relevant Buzz. Make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com every day where we are covering that stuff, the intersection of faith, culture, and everything in between. Thanks, Emily. All right. Stay tuned. After this break, Joel Houston joins us. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth. Creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness,
Choose The Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold.
Well, our guest today is Joel Houston. You know him as the leader of Hillsong's worship band United, but they've been on a bit of a hiatus the last few years. That's a nice way to say it. In the meantime, Joel's been working on a solo project called AMXNRADIO for the last year, and he's finally ready to release it. Emily sat down with him for his first interview about the new music, which he calls an experimental worship project. Here's our conversation with Joel Houston.
My soul when the world was on my mind, and the deep end of your heart, Lord, who am I? In awe of how you still love me, in awe of how you restore.
When did you first start thinking about creating this solo project?
Oh man, probably a while ago. As far as wanting to do something that felt like an extension of I guess people know me by United and Hillsong and that kind of stuff, and there's always been avenues there that I've been really grateful for, to kind of be able to bring songs into the world and have people hear them and sing them. And then, going all the way back to when I first started, there's always been these other songs as well, which I kind of have felt that I felt very organic in the way that they've come to life. But I've never felt like, they would work in any of those kind of platforms. And, I think there was so much demands on just our time and energy just with United and all of that kind of stuff, that a lot of them just never saw the light of day, and I was okay with that. For me, songwriting's very much been a refuge for me. I've never really seen it as a job. I've always struggled kind of with, and I have no problem with it. I have absolutely massive respect for the many people out there who go to sessions every day and so forth. But for me, it's always felt like, even when I was a teenager, before I ever thought a song would be heard, it was kind of the place that I really kind of found God, I suppose, for myself. Even I grew up in the church. I tried every devotional method and strategy and plan there was, and what worked for me was, when I got alone, I started writing songs and just kind of exploring God. I can honestly say I found God in the music. Even my, I'm not a phenomenal musician by any stretch of the imagination. But even just kind of understanding how music worked, I've said it before, when I moved from kind of writing songs that felt like, actually playing music and trying to learn. I kind of hated music, to be honest, the form and function of it all. But I remember my piano teacher kind of said, "You have one job this week, and it's to write a song." And I remember kind of being like, how could I write a song? And I remember sitting at the piano and just kind of looking at the notes, and I realized there's only 12 notes there. And I remember thinking, wow, like every song that's ever been written is just a combination of 12 notes. And there was something about the finiteness of that, the infinite nature of what exists within it that kind of it opened my eyes, even as an insecure teenager, to kind of the fact that I felt pretty finite, and I felt like you had to have superpowers or be some super perfect human being to be used by God. And I realized that no song is perfect, and you write a song and it can just go and travel and find people and help people in ways that you could never imagine. And so all of that was kind of the journey for me, and it's just this AMXNRADIO is kind of just an extension of that. I never knew that was going to be called that. I just always had these kind of other songs and music that kind of didn't fit into the boxes that were already there. And then during COVID, I suppose, I found myself kind of in a studio by myself and for many years had always been, my friends or people who are much more talented than me who were able to push all the buttons and make things happen. And I was sitting there going, well, I want to make music and I need to do something new. And I've got this time. And so I just started messing around and kind of getting on the tools myself a little bit and exploring and messing around with beats and just different ways to write songs. Traditionally for me, it was always a piano or a guitar or just my phone. We just driving in the car humming away and then kind of unpackaging it later. And instead I kind of thought, I just thought, let's just start with like soundscapes and feelings and just, no kind of end goal in mind. I wasn't really thinking about it, even the music being something that I'd ever release. It was just, and it became really, to be honest, really, really, really therapeutic during that time, just making music again for the love of it, not for anything specific. There was no pressure on it. I kind of just fell in love with it again. And like I said, I've always loved making music with my friends, love worship. But, there's a part of it where the pressure mounts and you start to kind of look at, there's expectations and, there's just, with success, it is a two-edged sword in some ways. There's this other side to it that kind of sucks, to be honest. And you don't realize that, but the joy, you start to lose some of the joy in it. And I found that really hard to deal with because making music has been such a, like I said, a refuge for me, like a secret place. And so this whole kind of process just felt like coming home again. And it just felt like, man, I really love this. I'm enjoying this. And I need that at my age. I just needed something to feel really pure, I suppose. And I didn't think that people would hear it. And then I started kind of just processing, I'd sit here late at night, honestly, every day pretty much for about 3 years, and I would just make music and then just kind of hum melodies or sing whatever words came in the moment. And just, I wasn't thinking about verses and choruses and bridges and is this going to work in church? Is this going to work on radio? There was nothing to it. It just felt honestly quite selfish. Just making music, to God, but like not thinking about anybody else. It was just, everything just felt different. And I kind of, about a year ago, I suppose, I kind of started pulling up all these sketches and I realized that maybe there's a body of work there that maybe this music is for others, which I think is the purest way for it to come about. And then it was like, I just was kind of sabotaging my ideas again and just kind of trying to find reasons for it not to happen. And, we've been in kind of a bit of a limbo with United and that kind of thing at the moment, just kind of waiting for some clarity on what that next chapter looks like. And we're all fired up and excited about it. So, I think United's not going anywhere. I think it's still very much something I'm passionate about. But there was this window to kind of be like, all right, maybe it's time, and then, last New Year's Eve, I put a message out on social media, which I haven't really engaged with for about 7 or 8 years. I think I lost about 20,000 followers when I posted, which I thought was funny. Every time I post something, I lose another 10,000 followers, so that's good news. But it's just, I kind of just said, I'm going to put music out this year. And I just, honestly, it was like kind of jumping off a cliff for me a little bit. I don't know why, but it felt that way. And so here we are, started just releasing some things, and it's all very scary and new and exciting, and it feels the first time, when we were on the up and there was no expectations, it all kind of happened so quickly before you know it, this is what you're doing with your life. And there wasn't a lot of time to really enjoy that kind of grind, even though we did at the time. And next thing you know, there's momentum and everything's flying, and everything you kind of touch or put out seems to, people love it. And so it's strange to kind of come back to that place again, all these years later, and be like, all right, like I'm on there and I'm answering, writing people and doing all, just kind of figuring it out. It's new and I love it.
This music isn't the typical worship music that I think people are used to hearing from you. Do you still see this as worship music, or is it something else?
It's funny because, I think there is a part of worship music that is absolutely for the church to sing together. And I mean, that's the part that, I've given most of my life to. And there's no supplement for it. And to be honest, there's so many people who are just writing great songs for the church. And I love it. Every time I hear a new song, I'm just like, that's powerful. That's amazing. There's a part of me, I feel like I'm still writing those songs. I have a bin, a Dropbox. It's just songs for the church. And at some point, but I just didn't feel the urgency to kind of just be throwing more into that space at the moment, and I think when the time's right, those songs will see the light of day, and hopefully there'll be something fresh that bring life to people and churches around the place and help people connect with God in that way. But the gap I did see is that, when I read the Psalms and most of those songs probably wouldn't work in church, just even the lyric. And it's wild to say, right? In our current setting, and it's, definitely there's a chorus in there for sure every single time, because so often these psalms start in one place and they journey until they end in another place, and it usually turns to bringing glory to God and speaking of His goodness and His faithfulness and manifesting that now and over our circumstances. And it wasn't so much intentional as I just kind of felt for the longest time that even sonically what we bring to the body of Christ, not just in our churches, but every other minute of every day that people aren't in services, which is the majority of a person's week, there should be a soundtrack for that helps them experience the presence of God when they're in their car or when they're trying to prepare for bed, or they're going for a run and they're spending time with the Lord. Like wherever we are, I think that's the gift that music is in the world, is that it creates a soundtrack for all of life's experiences, the highs, the lows, the twists, the turns, the mundane moments and the incredible moments. I think we sing at football games and we sing at funerals and we sing, at parties, and we sing, when we're by ourselves in the shower, and it's just, music is such an incredible gift that God's given the world, humanity. And for us to kind of limit that to just maybe what works in a church service or just what works on radio, to me, it's like we're missing out on maybe the breadth of what music can do to help serve us and serve as individuals, but even the church at large, who go to work and going to school and going about their lives. And so I kind of felt like this maybe could serve more as a soundtrack for all those other moments. So I describe it as experiments in worship, because it is. Prayer, curiosity, mystery, and sonic madness. It's just, the other way you could look at it is, united but on drugs, except for I'm not on drugs. It's, but it's just, there's no boundaries or limit to it. Even genre-wise, I was being really careful to, I've been influenced by so many different types of music over the years that, I've loved genres and styles of music that have never really kind of made it into what we've done with United or other things. And I was like, man, that music, it feels spiritual to me as well. Why can't that be a framework for the Word of God or lyric or confession or a prayer? And I think the only thing that I've been really, really careful to maintain is that it's really pure. There's this kind of thing that I've never been able to describe. It's that feeling you get when you hear a song and you cannot explain why it just connects with the deep in us. I call it maybe the deep. It's like you can look at the song scientifically and kind of go, I don't know why that makes me, and not just me, but a whole lot of people feel a certain way. And I think that's the thing I've always pursued and chased with any song is like, how do you kind of find that thing that just, it connects with the deep in us, the spirit place. And you can hear it in music that's not, that we wouldn't call Christian. And sometimes it's just like, what is that? And sometimes you do a deeper dive and then you find out, oh, hang on, because that guy actually has a faith and he was writing about something that was deeply personal to him and he was bringing God into the picture because I think it's universally as human beings, we all have this desire in us that longs for God, and so that comes out in music if the music's good. And I really just wanted to try and find that thing and then craft it out rather than trying to go, I'm going to make a drum and bass song that has, Jesus lyrics to. That's kind of not been the desire at all. If anything, the opposite.
Something's going on with my heart. I do keep on falling apart. I just saw them believe. You said that I could really fly. Do I know that I could just as love? Jumping you in the dead. I just saw them believe. Ooh, I just saw them believe.
That was Joel Houston. Make sure to check out his new music, AMXNRADIO, playing now wherever you stream your music. He's got a few songs out. Mm-hmm. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback. Well, today's podcast is brought to you in part by the new book, Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic. Author Jonathan Seidel knows firsthand how even believers can get stuck in shame and destructive habits, especially when it comes to one of society's biggest obsessions, alcohol. In Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic, he details his spiral into disordered drinking and shares the 4-step process he eventually used to break free. There's hope for alcoholics who become Christians and for Christians who become alcoholics. Find Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic wherever books are sold. What if you could change a child's life with just $10? Right now, thousands of vulnerable children in East Africa are suffering from jiggers. It's a painful, preventable parasite that burrows into their feet. Soul Hope is the only organization treating it through foot washing, medical care, and durable closed-toed shoes that protect kids long after treatment. $10 may not seem like much in today's world, but when we come together, those small gifts add up to big change. Join the 10 for 10 campaign. $10 protects 10 small toes. Visit soulhope.org/10 to give now. One small gift makes a big difference. Again, that's soulhope, SOLE, hope.org/TEN. All right, it's time for your feedback. Last week, we asked you, what's a popular trend that you think is a little overrated, maybe a little lame? Jesse was talking about pickleball. That's what prompted this message or this question. He is not a pickleball fan. He thinks it's very overrated. So we wanted to know, what do you think is maybe something that's mass popular that you think is a little overrated? You hit us up on X at Relevant Podcast, and here's a few of our favorites.
Emma Johnson said she could go on a very long rant about the Stanley Cup accessories, but she won't. And I agree.
All right, Emma Johnson, calm down. My Stanley Cup is fantastic.
No. Here's the thing. She's talking specifically about the accessories, and that's
wait. What are accessories? What are you talking about? I have one cup, and that's all. What is it?
So here's the thing, because I see these videos on my TikTok all the time because they're so fascinating to me. But it is like a rage watch. There are people who have accessories for their Stanley Cup, like charms to put on it. These little like straw toppers. They're like little backpacks that you can like loop around it, so that way it's almost like making your Stanley Cup a purse. Like it's just a ridiculous thing. Like it is so...
It's like a lifestyle. Like it's a Stanley lifestyle.
It's like the ultimate maximalist thing. I don't even understand.
For a cup. For a cup.
And people go crazy about it.
Hey, it's a great cup. I'll be honest with you. It keeps ice overnight. It's great. It's a great cup.
I got a $12.99 knockoff from TJ Maxx that does a great job too. So
it does not keep your ice overnight. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sophia Garcia, and I think maybe this has something to do with the fact I'm renovating and been renovating for a minute, but she says, what's up with every influencer having a lack of color in home decor? Everything is sad beige. Maybe a pillow is dusty pink if you want to add some spice. And that's actually crazy. Like the trend, I like to look at, with my little designing, is I do white, but the reason I do white is so that I can design with decor, right? So I can have things pop and you can actually see it. But like, man, you see white on white on white with dusty beige, everything is like, yeah, I'm with you. Like, come on, y'all, we got to add a little pop of color somewhere.
It's because of the Kardashians, because like Kim really started that trend. Kim and Kanye honestly really started that trend of like everything is maybe brown or like gray, white, beige, like all this stuff. Very like minimalist. And it is so sad, especially because I'll see these like mommy influencers who all of their kids' toys are like brown. And I'm like, kids need primary colors. Like, you're supposed to have a color-filled life. It makes me so sad.
A brown toy is crazy.
Yeah.
As a person who's been in the creative field for a long time and followed these trends, in the 90s and 2000s, everything was faux, right? Everything was like, you know, not real Mediterranean. It was faux Mediterranean, you know, whatever. It's like, So what happened? What happened after that was we're going to strip away all the unnecessary, whatever, minimalism trend. Well, pendulums swing. So minimalism is turning into maximalism again. And so fashion and graphic design, which leads or precedes home decor, maximalism is back. If you remember, every corporation redid their logo 10 years ago and stripped it of all personality. It's just a same sans serif font with maybe a geometric, you know, shape or whatever, but that's it. But it's no personality. Watch in the next 10 years, it's going to be maximalism. It's going to be personalities coming back. Fashion, same thing. Color. Watch home design. It's going to come back to color, right? Derek's painting his entire studio right now a shade of off of black, but ceiling, walls, everything. That wouldn't have happened 5 years ago. Like,
no, that's a no.
Right. Maximalism is coming back, and just watch pendulum swing. People are going to reject the Kim Kardashian beige world, and they're going to bring texture and patterns and art and all that. It's coming back.
I'm going all out. Like I'm like it's black, but it's like it's a palette for me to design and put cool stuff in there. Like I'm so sick of like everything just being straight lines all the time. Like I'm a minimalist for the most part. Like I am a minimalist, but enough is enough.
But the art is coming back to design. Just watch. Just watch. Maximalism is coming back. It's happening in fashion, oversized and color. You just watch. Just watch. It's coming back. So.
I got an MF Doom rug, so, you know, it's lit.
Love it. So, Sophia Garcia, don't worry. Sad beige is on its way out. And if you're decorating right now, y'all, don't do sad beige. It's
don't do it.
You'll be very unhappy a year from now. So
I love color. So, like, I'm excited that it's coming back. Because I've, like, even during this sad beige era, I've still had a lot of color. Like, y'all can see my background. There's lots of different colors. I have a green couch.
There we go. All right. So, popular trend you think is lame or overrated? So, she picked a good one. I think it's funny. McKay Brown says, why? Every word has a period after it. Why is everything a video now? It's true. Bring back photography. Bring back design. Why is everything a video now?
It makes me so mad. Even on like TikTok, like people will post still photos, but they do like a collage, like video kind of thing. And it is like, or on, I mean, I think we're all on social media too, trying to follow the trends, but it's like, everything has to be a video. And it's like, I don't want to watch a video. I just want to see a still photo. I feel like what's the like angry man yelling at a cloud? That's what I feel like.
Yeah. Ethan Clark kind of built on that. And he said, he's concerned how much personal stuff people put online. He's like, you know, we have videos of Gen Zs or teens posting embarrassing personal stories that should never be on the internet. Here's the deal. They're going to learn real hard about 10 years from now. The internet doesn't forget. Like they're going to, you should have a private life for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to put everything online.
Hey, when your son find that twerk video,
you know what I'm saying?
Like,
no, yeah, but not even that. Like, because when I worked with like youth, I remember being like, this was a couple of years ago, but it was still starting. Like, I would see my kids on social media. They would like post an Instagram story or whatever of themselves crying because they had like a bad day, whatever. And I'd be concerned for them because I was their leader. But I was also like, I've never once thought in the midst of me crying about something, let me take a picture and post it on social media. It's like even stuff like that. I'm like, Bring back diaries. Bring back personal moment. Like, I don't need to know everything about you.
And the crazy part about the cry videos is like, bro, that's not the first take.
I know it's not. They had to get the angle.
Dude, you know, we're in the group chat, like Marty will send over some videos of like maybe another artist and he's doing something that's kind of corny. And Marty's thing is like, imagine that dude filming that thing. You know, like imagine the people who are there with him as he's filming this corny video. And it's just like, how I don't understand that mindset of like, oh, this is going to look great. I'm going to put this online, you know? Dude, you know what's so weird is like when I went through my divorce 10 plus years ago, about social media, I became very aware of my 3-year-old son. And I was just like, one day he's going to see a diary of my life based on what I put online. And I want to set an example and live a life that he would be proud of. He'd get to know me in a way he doesn't know me now. You know, like I'm going to still share my experiences. I'm going to be authentic and all the things, but in a way that, like you're saying, like your kid's going to see your twerking video one day. Well, I'm not going to do a twerking video. I'm aware of the eyes that will come behind me, you know?
If you ever do a video twerking, bro, I'm going to fly to
We're
Florida.
done.
And I'm going to beat you.
Don't worry.
I'm going to beat you with one of the 2x4s that's left over from this renovation.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. But like people need to have context. Think about the future. Think about the job you want to have one day. Think about the legacy you want to leave.
Honestly,
the kids who are going to, people who are following your life.
A little bit of shame. Just a little bit.
I
not
agree.
a lot.
I think so.
Like, just think about like, could someone shame me for this? Oh, maybe I shouldn't post it online.
Maybe I should.
You know,
dude.
It's that time. There should be a little shame in your game.
There should be.
I mean, 10 years ago, kids who wanted to post stuff that they didn't want their parents to see or whatever would do a Finsta or they do another account for their friends. But now it's like they don't even bother with that. They're just putting it out there and like your aunt can see this. What are you doing? You know,
the crazy thing is like they do it. I mean, to get engagement, like, because they like want to go viral. Yep. They want to have this viral moment. And then there's so many things where like I'll see, like I'll get TikToks of girls talking about like just really bad dates they had or something like that. And they'll kind of be, I don't know, like, or they'll just like talk about like a personal experience and it happens to blow up. And then you go and look their next videos like, I didn't expect that to blow up. Let me apologize for being mean to this person or whatever. And it's like, but you put that on the internet. Like, maybe you didn't expect it to blow up, but you were putting it on the internet. Like
you knew and you didn't care.
Yeah.
And then now you're getting shamed in the comments, so you're conflicted.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
All right. Well, there's a lot more where that came from. Hit us up on X. You can see our mentions there. Okay, it's time for this week's
editorial question of the week.
All right. Well, we all got our Spotify Wrapped or our Apple Music replay this week for the 2% of us who are on Apple Music.
That's generous.
Listen, I wanted to share my 5 or 10 with my friends. But the reality is I didn't want them to see number 3 or whatever. So it's like, I was like, never mind. I'm not going to post this. So we want to know what's the guilty pleasure thing that kind of kept you from posting your Wrapped. We want you to tell us what is what was revealed to you this week that you were surprised by. Or tell me the
guilty pleasure that you actually are proud of.
Yeah, you're proud.
You know, if it's you know, Blue's Clues, you listen. You know, a song that got too much time for me is the Krusty Krab anthem.
Bring back shame. Bring back shame.
It got too much. Look, man, the hood version of Mr. Krabs rapping about spending money, dog. It just had all the stuff. Had all the stuff I needed.
Listen, I don't really have like space to say anything because I should be ashamed of shocker, there's a lot of Taylor Swift, but
for sure,
my number 1 played song, I got the stat that I was in the top 0.001% of listeners for the song.
That's lit.
Which was?
It's called The Prophecy by Taylor Swift.
Oh, by Taylor Swift.
So here's my thing. I'm not ashamed of this, but it does come up with friends who meet me for the first time every year that I post my Spotify Wrapped. I'm a pretty happy, optimistic person, I would like to say. I will always listen to the most depressing music you can possibly imagine because I don't know what it is. I love really sad music. So like when I say I like pop music, I'm talking like sad girl pop. So like all my favorite Taylor Swift songs are ones where she's talking about not being loved or having anxiety or just dealing with things. And every year, inevitably, I have friends text me after I post my Spotify Wrapped and are like, you good? You okay? Do I need to check in on you more? And I'm like, I'm fine. I just love sad music.
I'm right there with you in the sense of like my recap does not feel representative of what I actually consume. My number one artist this year and last year was Lana Del Rey. And I'm like,
iconic.
I like Lana Del Rey. I don't, what? Like, how is she my number one artist? And then I realized my go-to, if I can't fall asleep, my go-to playlist that I'll put on softly in the background is Lana Del Rey Chill. And so like, you know, one or two songs in, I've drifted off to sleep, but that playlist is still playing for the next 2 hours. So she's at the top of all my charts. So that's why I'm not like sharing it. Cause it's like, I'm not obsessed with Lana Del Rey. I'm okay, y'all. Like, I'm just saying, like, it's my go to sleep soundtrack sometimes.
No, that's a good excuse to make up. Yeah.
It is. It's the truth. Leave me alone. Bring back shame. All right. Hit us up. Tell us the surprising thing that showed up on your recap or your replay this week. And we'll share the most embarrassing ones next week. All right. On that note, many thanks to Joel Houston for joining us today. Make sure to check out AMXNRADIO. He's dropping songs. We don't have firm release date for a full album. He's kind of doing it that new organic way of just releasing stuff. So make sure to follow what's happening there. Also, some maybe bigger news coming up around the corner. Who knows? I'm not trying to say, but I'm saying. AMXNRADIO. Also, check out relevantmagazine.com every day where we are covering the intersection of faith, culture, and everything in between. Follow us on all the socials, get our newsletter, stay in touch. There you go. All right. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
We will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
Congrats, women. We finally did it.
Relevant Podcast Network.